I am Ruth McEwen, Advisory Council member serving on the Northwest Senior and Disability Services Advisory Councils. I want to welcome candidates, incumbents, and Advisory Council members to the 2024 Candidate Interview Forum. This program features candidates and incumbents from districts serving Clatsop, Marion, Polk, Tillamook, and Yamhill counties, and is sponsored by our Senior Advisory Council and our Disability Services Advisory Council. Northwest Senior and Disability Service is a local governmental organization that provides Medicaid, Oregon Project Independence, Older Americans Act, and grant-funded programs. The mission of the Northwest Senior and Disability Service is to promote dignity, independence, and health, honor choice, and empower people. The assistance and support we provide to consumers includes information, assistance, in-home and community-based services, financial and medical help, meal site and home-delivered meals, options counseling, adult protective services, Medicare counseling, and peer mentoring, money management, as well as health and wellness programs. Because of the number of state legislative districts that our service area covers, we have invited a large number of candidates to our candidate interviews. Each candidate has been given information on the format used in these interviews. Each candidate will be introduced by a member from the advisory councils, and then candidates will have the opportunity to answer questions which will be timed. We thank these candidates for their willingness to share their views about services for Oregon seniors and people with disability.
Hi, my name is Judy Richards. I am a member of the Disability Services Advisory Council at Northwest and Disability Services. Today I'm interviewing Senator Elizabeth Steiner. She is a Democrat candidate for Oregon State Treasurer. We'll be asking Senator Steiner questions related to seniors and people with disabilities. Welcome, Senator Steiner, and thank you for sharing your time with us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a privilege.
We're going to start out with a question about your opinion. In your opinion, what are the most important roles of the state treasurer?
You know, I'm a mom of 3 kids. I'm a family physician and I'm a state legislator. And I believe the key to Oregon's future is promoting the well-being of every single Oregonian. The state treasurer plays an important role in that by helping Oregonians achieve financial security, which in turn improves physical and emotional well-being. From the opportunities to help Oregonians save for their children's post-high school education to saving for retirement, my goal as treasurer is to educate Oregonians about these opportunities and help them become more financially secure. The treasurer has an immense responsibility that's both constitutional and statutory to protect and grow OPER for the Oregon Public Employee Retirement Fund. Only by doing so can we meet our obligations to those who serve the state in such important ways. The treasurer also plays an important role in helping Oregonians achieve financial security. Opportunities to help Oregonians plan for the future include saving for their children's post-high school education, saving for retirement, and more. As I said above, my goal as treasurer is to educate Oregonians about these opportunities and help them become more financially secure. Lastly, I'm committed to implementing current Treasurer Tobias Reed's plan to achieve net zero carbon emissions in the public retirement fund portfolio by 2050. It's important that we strike a balance between protecting retirement funds and doing more to combat the climate crisis.
Thank you. How do these important roles impact seniors and people with disabilities?
As I mentioned, for retirees who've served our state, our public employee retirement system is a critical component of their retirement plan, and it's our responsibility to uphold our obligation to protect their retirement security. For those who aren't part of PERS, Oregon Saves and other savings programs can help individuals prepare for retirement. So it's important that we not only make more people aware of the benefits of these programs, but also make the programs more accessible. It's also critical that we teach young people the value of starting to save for retirement early to help them ensure a financially secure retirement. Finally, as you know, ABLE accounts allow people with disabilities to save without disrupting their access to important benefits. Here, too, it's important that we make sure as many people know about these programs that can help them and make it as easy as possible for people to sign up and take advantage of the programs offered by our state treasury.
Well, what would you do to increase the awareness of the ABLE account?
Well, I think it's really important to make sure that we connect closely with advocacy organizations across the state. There are many important organizations, whether that's organizations like yours or family resource networks, or many other important ones that help serve people with disabilities around the state. And it's really important that we connect specifically with those organizations, because those organizations are the trusted messengers that help get the word out. It's all well and good for the Treasury to run an advertising campaign. It's very different when an organization like Northwest Seniors and Disability Services is the one to spread that message about these important accounts. And that's going to be particularly true when the new law takes effect at the beginning of 26 that expands access to these important accounts so that more people can take advantage of them. Finally, I'm going to make sure that we put all of the information about any family's savings programs in one place, right? You shouldn't have to access it through multiple different websites. So if, for example, a family had a person with an Oregon Saves account for their retirement and a child who had a 529 account to save for post-secondary education and a person with disabilities who had an ABLE account, they should be able to access all of those everywhere in the state from one platform. And that's certainly what we're going to do. Last but not least, I would say we're going to increase our financial literacy opportunities and education for people across the state. And that will help more people understand all the different ways that they can save to have a more secure financial future.
Thank you for sharing with me how you would find a way to ensure that ABLE accounts are more effective for people with disabilities. And lastly, what would you do as state treasurer to ensure that we have transparency and accountability in Oregon's government finances, specifically in the areas that impact seniors and people with disabilities?
You know, throughout my career as an elected official, and it's been 13 years now, my door has always been open to everyone who wants to speak with me, regardless of what their position is on something. I believe strongly that access to public elected officials is critical. And it's important to make that access viable for people with different ways of interacting, right? And whether that's increasing the ability to interact remotely so that people don't have to travel as much, or ensuring that people can have appointments with me in person, whether in my district or in the Capitol. That's something I've done throughout my career, and it's something I will continue to do as the state treasurer. That's really, really important. I've also had ongoing conversations with unions, representatives of BIPOC communities, business owners, and others to work collaboratively on addressing issues that are critical to these important stakeholders. And many of them serve people with seniors and people with disabilities as well. And so it's important to make sure that we highlight all of that. I would hope and expect to engage in these same kinds of conversations as I have with these organizations, with people particularly serving seniors and people with disabilities, and have those. Sorry, that was super inarticulate. The last thing I would say about that, one of the examples is it's really important to make sure that websites are accessible to people with different kinds of visual needs or hearing or whatever. So it's going to be important to me to have focus groups with interested parties to make sure that the Treasury websites are accessible through mobile devices, are accessible to people with visual differences, are accessible to people with multiple languages, are accessible in as many ways as possible. And that's something that I think is particularly important to seniors and people with disabilities.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have been visiting today with Senator Elizabeth Steiner, a Democrat candidate for Oregon State Treasurer. Thank you, Senator Steiner, for joining us today for this interview.
It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
And thank you again.
I want to thank the candidates on behalf of the members of the Senior Advisory Council and Disability Service Advisory Council of Northwest Senior and Disability Services for attending our candidate interviews. We hope the information that has been provided will help you make informed choices when you vote. The opinions expressed here are not endorsed by Northwest Senior and Disability Services. For more information or to get connected to services provided by Northwest Senior and Disability Services, call 1-866-206-4799. The advisory councils for Northwest Senior and Disability Services would like to thank Capital Community Media for their production of the forum. Thank you for watching.